Okay, so if you're experiencing pain, odds are you are weak somewhere in your body, okay? And there's a gentleman named Stuart McGill. He's kind of the guru of, back pain, really. I've seen him speak live. I remember as a student, I saw him, so he's been around for a very long time. And he's created these things that he calls his big three. Now, we're gonna go through the big three right now, but I just want to preface it with, in my opinion, now in practice for almost 20 years, the big three is awesome, incredible, I love it. However, I find that for many of my patients, that's not where they're going to start. To me, that's like, if you're doing the big three and you're at an RPE, that's rate of perceived exertion, if it feels like you're at like a 6 or a 7 and really pushing and hard, I would maybe back off and do one of our other more simple lower back exercises, maybe some bridges, abdominal crunches. Start with something a little more simple. This one is really good. In my opinion, perfect is if you're at maybe a 3 to maybe a 4 out of 10. So if you're doing these exercises and it feels like you're pushing really hard, I would back off, maybe try something more simple. So let's go ahead and take a look at the big three. So with the big three, we're gonna start with what's called a curl up. Now in all of these, I like doing the power breathing. So with the curl up, you're gonna be in what's called the hook line position. So one leg is straight, the other leg is bent. I like putting my hand, you wanna maintain a neutral spine, so you wanna make sure your spine isn't pushing down. Also see how I push and contract, and I'm gonna do 10 power breaths. So I'm kind of breathing, and with each, you can see me breathing in the video, and with each breath, I'm actually contracting my core. You wanna make sure that when you're pushing, I like pushing and kind of telling my body, you need to contract here. So as you see with each reset, after I do 10, I take a break, and now I'm pushing up again. You're contracting the core. So as you're doing that, breathe. So do it with us in the video, but follow that 10 breaths. As you see, now I'm relaxing again. So I relax, maybe take a good deep breath, and then start with that last contraction where we push up and contract. You're just contracting the core, lifting up. You want to make sure, see, I'm trying to really control the head. You want to make sure you're not pushing too far forward with your head, and just contracting and holding. It needs to be pain-free. Okay, if it hurts, you're going backwards. Now we're gonna switch sides. So again, I like doing 3 with one leg straight, and then switch into that hook line position. Same thing, hand under the back, neutral spine, push, and 10 power breaths. 3, 4, so you can see that I'm breathing, puff, puff, puff. Each contraction, I'm trying to hold the core. You wanna just be contracting with each power breath, then I'm resting again. I go up into my second hold here, and we're gonna push up, lift, okay? So just contract and lift. This is my second round, so if you're doing this right now, you wanna be doing the 10 power breaths, or you can just watch and I drop down. Okay, so you're really holding for about 10 seconds each one. This is gonna be my last round when I lift up. So contract, I'm pushing into the core, and I'm telling my body to contract, hold, neutral spine. You wanna just make sure that really with all of these, it's all about contracting the core. That's why I like doing that cue where you're pushing. Okay, now I'm gonna go into a side plank. Now I'm gonna show this first with straight legs. So top leg in front, bottom leg in back. See how I'm gonna contract? So I'm gonna lift up, hold, and I'm doing 10 power breaths again. So, and with each breath, I'm contracting. And see how my hand is right there in the core, because I'm trying to contract that core. It's all about contracting the core. And like I said, this one you have to be really careful on. Your shoulder, if you have any shoulder pain, I would discontinue, maybe try something else, or modify. See how I show the knees? You can do it on your knees. I show this on my feet, which is a more difficult variation, but you can go onto your knees. See, I'm contracting and doing my 10 power breaths. So each one of these you're holding, each one of these positions holding for about 10 seconds, and I do 3 of those on each side. So here's gonna be my last one on this side. So up and contract. See, I've got my hand. And you can do that too, just contract, because you want to feel yourself contracting and really focus. It's really a mental exercise where you're holding. You want to make sure that you're kind of driving that shoulder into the ground, holding the contraction with those 10 power breaths. Now I'm going to switch. So we got the mirror there, so kind of trying to show what it looks like from both sides. Now you're going to see the back side again, top leg in front, and position up. And I'm really careful on that shoulder, contracting. I'm doing 10 power breaths and trying to just hold stiff. Stiff is what you're going for. I remember when I heard Stuart McGill talk, he spoke about athletes and how you want to kind of wind a spring. You want to think of your core as a spring and you're winding it tight. So no big movements. You're holding and contracting with each power breath. Push into that core and puff, 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 puff. And every time you take a breath, you're trying to get stronger. You're contracting those deep stabilizers, the core. Okay, and I think I'm on my second one right here. Here we go up into third and third contraction. Up, holding stiff, making sure that shoulder feels good. 10 power breaths. We're holding for about 10 seconds. And these are really good. But again, as you can tell, this can be difficult if you... It's a challenging exercise. Now we're going to go into what's called the bird dog, okay? Now the bird dog, shoulders over arms, hips over knees. I push into the opposite. So you're pushing and extending. Now what you want to imagine is that you have ropes tied to like the end of your foot and your fit. I like making a fist, and you want to be picturing a rope pulling you tight. So you're not thinking lift up, you're thinking stretch you out, okay? And then that's 10 power breaths, and then I push into the knee again, and then hold for another 10 power breaths. Puff, puff, and each one contracting the core, contracting. You want to hold contraction. Cues here, you want to make sure that you're not turning. One problem is you'll see people when they go to extend that leg out, so see I push and then re-engage, they'll extend back, then it'll lift their hips up. So you want to make sure that your spine is staying neutral, that you're giving that cue of pull. So you're thinking more pull and stretch. Contracting the core, holding for 10 puffs. And here we go. And that should have been my third. Well, we're doing another round here. Okay, so extending out. And puff, 10 puffs. And contracting. Again, you want to really focus from the core. You don't want it to be too much into the shoulder. The hip is good though, because that glute really helps. And then we'll reset. We're going to go to the other side. So see, I'm going to make a fist, opposite arm, opposite leg. I just kind of push into it and then extend. Rope pulling tight, and you want to hold. See, I got that little wobble in there. You want to, it takes time. And there's other modifications that we can do, but we're showing the simple. Sometimes you can do movements, opposite movements of the leg and the arm. But for this, we're doing 10 power breaths. Then I, again, reset, push into the opposite leg, opposite arm, and extend back out for another 10 power breaths. Puff, puff, puff. And every time you breathe, you want to be contracting that core. Contract the core, contract the core. It's a real key with all of these, all three of them. It's about tightening that spring, making the spring nice and tight and firm. This is going to help with core stability, but really number one, these are what he's established as safe back exercises. So if you're experiencing low back pain, or you want to not have low back pain, and I'll reiterate again, there's my third one, and we're all set. So again, I would not put these in the category of, start out with these. In my professional opinion over the years, I usually say this is like step 2. After you've established you're no longer in extreme pain. You can do these in pain, but sometimes that's too much. You're not starting out. You've done some other rehab exercises, you're feeling strong, and I feel like this is like the next level up, but a really good maintenance exercise for preventing low back pain. So there you go. There's McGill's Big 3.